It was like in the later half, maybe later 1/3 of the stream, where he was all like, read this so-and-so verse. Notice how it says that not one jot or tittle or stroke of a pen, the actual words that he used, shall go unfollowed until everything is fulfilled. And he was saying that the verse is meaning, when it means everything, that means including the revelation prophecies and so on and so forth, particularly in this case homosexuals. But as far as killing them goes, I mean, yes, back in the Old Testament, they were ordered to stone adulterers and gay people and so on and so forth. But I'd also like to point out that, okay, even particularly in a modern context, that's not justified, because as we recall Jesus saying in John 8:7, I think it was, where he said, "He is who is without sin cast the first stone." In other words, I'm not without sin. No Christian is without sin, and so they don't have the jurisdiction to kill other people purely just for their sin.
Would you mind pulling up Matthew 5:17, line 17 to 20?
Is that the one when Jesus goes talking about the punishment for disobedient children?
No. There are lines to show that the old covenant has not been replaced. Just read it. It says like the old moral law are still in effect.
Not necessarily. I mean, he was talking about like in a present tense of how no one shall devolve away from the law, in a present tense for the context of that verse. He said, until the law is fulfilled, not one jot or tittle shall be disobeyed or not obeyed.
And when has
that's the whole purpose? That's the whole purpose of Jesus, is that he came down to fulfill the law.
Yeah, and the law is still not fulfilled. The second coming of Jesus Christ has not happened yet.
It doesn't mention about the second coming, that until I have come a second time, you shall not.
Let me read the whole thing. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. I think the important one is line 18. For truly I tell you, not until the heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. And when it says everything, I think it means everything. And what has yet to be accomplished? The second coming of Jesus Christ.
Till everything be accomplished. You think that he is not just talking about the prophecy for dying for everyone's sins, but also prophecy of Revelations?
Has the second coming of Jesus Christ come? I mean,
no, I'm asking you. I'm asking you that. I'm not stating. I'm asking.
When it says everything, I think it means everything. So everything he wants to accomplish has to be accomplished.
How do you know by when he says everything, he's not referring to the law mainly, or even only the law?
Because I think that's what it says. I mean, we're not under a worldwide Christian government. Jesus Christ has not come back and taken over the planet. And there's certain prophecies that are prophesized to happen that have not yet happened.
So I want to get your take on all that.
That verse with not one jot or tittle, that's that's literally a direct foreshadowing to Christ and his return, or not, excuse me, not his return, but his coming the first time, because he was the man who was the only one who could perfectly fulfill every single jot and tittle of the Old Testament law, of God's law. He lived that perfect life that we could not do no matter what. It just isn't possible. And it's part of that foreshadowing towards Jesus coming.
Right, and that's what I was thinking too the whole time. But he was trying to say that verse was referencing to the Revelations prophecies as well. And now that I think about it, for the context of the time that he was talking about it, the Revelations prophecy wasn't even made yet.
No, Revelation was the last book written by John.
So because of the context of the current time that Jesus was saying this, he couldn't have been referencing to the Revelations prophecy, and he would have only been referencing to the old covenant.
Yeah, and when he's
because Revelations wasn't even made yet.
Exactly. What he's referring to is the fact that he is fulfilling it, and that while he is fulfilling it, it's not since we can't fulfill the law ourselves, he's fulfilling it in our stead. So it's not as if he's saying, okay, now you don't have to worry about God's law at all or ever again. Forget it, it's gone. No, this is more of I'm fulfilling it for you because you can't. So because if you remember, he actually even expounds a little bit. Like he says, you say you've never committed adultery. I say to you that if you've looked on a woman in lust, you have committed adultery.
Right.
If you have been angry with your brother, you have committed murder. I mean, he's expanding on these points and saying that not only is it that these laws aren't passing away with what I'm doing, I'm making them stronger. And there's no way anyone can fulfill this. So I have fulfilled it for you.
Okay.